So, for those of you who are not lucky enough to have met you, tell us a little bit about you and your center, if you will, Kevin.
Well, uh, my dad started the business in 1954. His first center was had Pin Boys,
Oh, wow.
and then in 1956 he built a new center that had automatic scoring.
Okay.
And I wasn't born until a couple years after that,
In the
so
80s, right?
I don't remember the first center, the one with the Pin Boys, but
Right.
I definitely remember the one that he built in 1956.
Okay.
So as I was saying, my dad started the business 1954. He was located in a small building downtown Butler. He had Pin Boys, and then in 1956 he closed that when he had a new center built that had automatic scoring. I mean, not automatic scoring, but automatic pin setters.
Okay.
And that center existed until I believe it was around 1983. And in 83, that's when we actually had a little fire. And we ended up, I was not in Butler at that time. I was living out in Texas. But my brother had partnered up with my dad, and they ended up buying a competing center. And they actually moved 12 of the 16 lanes that they had at the center that they built in 1956, and they combined it with the other gentleman's center, and they made it into a 28 lane center.
Oh, wow.
At the northern part of our little town. Okay. Right. I came back in 1984, a year after that, and I partnered up with my brother, and we've been partners ever since. But probably somewhere around, let's see, the 86 or 87, we actually bought a bowling center in Nebraska.
Oh, really?
12 lane center.
Yeah.
Automatic scoring had only been out for not that long, or at least the color version of it. And there wasn't a lot of used scoring out on the market. And this particular center in Nebraska had it, and it was a 12 lane center. And we flew out there, looked at it, and we basically bought their assets, okay, which was the pin setters and the scoring.
Right.
And we brought it back to Butler, put it in storage, and then we had her build a building. So we went from 28 lanes at that point to eventually we ended up at 40.
Wow.
And we were at 40 up until 2018.
Okay.
And at that point, we actually went back in time to where we went back to 28 lanes.
Yeah.
Because we took out 12 lanes, bowling in our area, and we created a event space. But in this event space, we didn't throw anything away. Actually, we repurposed everything. So we took we took parts from the pin setters, and we created chandeliers, we created bar tops, we created tables, we created chairs. We did all that. And so now we're a 28 lane center that can do a wedding at the same time that we're doing a state tournament, which is what we did last Saturday.
Wow.
Okay. So, over the years, we keep making adjustments. Okay. To be honest, you have to keep reinventing yourself. Okay. To where maybe when we started off, we were a bowling alley, then we became a bowling center, then we became a FEC.
Right.
Now we're probably a little bit more like an event center, okay, to where
Yeah.
we bowling. Um, and the bowlers provide a lot of our resources, okay, the income, and
Mhm.
the but now we're attracting non-bowlers too.
Right. 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 Yeah. I mean,
So also in 1980, I think it was 1997, we actually added laser tag. So we
oh,
were
you
one of
guys have
the,
laser tag too?
yes, we still have
Okay.
laser tag.
Hmm.
It's one of our components. And what we found was people would drive past other centers that were closer to them to come to our center
Mm.
because they could not only do the bowling, but they could also do the laser tag.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. It's a good distinguisher.
Right. I mean, it was like a one-stop shop.
Yeah. Right. Like you said, FEC, much more appealing for the average family.
Yes. Yes.
And now I think you guys have a pretty decent restaurant component too, right?
Yes. And when we moved to our present location, which was in 1992, um, we actually had acquired a liquor license,
Mm.
and that was part of the component. Was we added a restaurant and a bar there,
Hmm.
and we really didn't make very many changes until it was like 20. Let me think here. It was 2014
Hmm.
when we did a major upgrade in the restaurant
Okay.
and the bar. We raised the ceiling. We blew out the walls. We really went all out. Okay,
Hmm.
and we were able to do much better. Okay,
Yeah.
our sales more than doubled in a short period of time.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it was definitely worth our while.
Hmm. So now are you, what's your split between like a bowling side of the house and like a food and beverage side of the house now?
Well, we actually have two separate companies. We have the bowling side, and we also have the restaurant side.
Hmm.
Okay, and prior to us um, doing the new restaurant in 2014, the
Hmm.
bowling side always had been the predominant bigger size.
Yeah.
Okay, the bowling center always sort of carried the heavier weight and
Hmm.
was able to generate the revenue. Um, when we did the new bar, that reversed itself.
Really?
Okay, yes. The restaurant and the bar outdoes the bowling center
Oh,
in
wow.
sales.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
In sales. Okay. Um, the only difference is in the bowling center, your cost of goods are much lower.
Right.
Okay, where with the restaurant, you're dealing with cost of the food, cost of the beer, cost of
Right.
whatever. Okay,
Staff. Hmm.
so it's taken us a while to become a little bit more acclimated in that.
Hmm.
Okay, and each time we do one of these improvements in the building, okay, it's made a big difference.
Hmm.
And
So
then
what, oh, go
uh,
ahead.
COVID changed the rules all over again.
Sure.
Okay, to where we had to go outside,
Right.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
being
Yeah.
being outside for the last 2 years, we've seen, like a lot of other people, that there's some advantages because normally in the summertime, the bowling center isn't used as much as naturally during the wintertime.
Of course.
Uh, so it's a way to keep some of our customers year round, and at the same time, it's another avenue to be able to bring more people in that maybe might not normally frequent your
Mhm.
establishment.
So did you like add a patio or was there something there before? What did you do for that?
Well, for the COVID part, we were one of the first ones to reach out to the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board.
Mhm.
going outside. So they allowed us to license our parking lot.
Okay.
And the parking lot, we have a front lot and then we have a side lot
Yeah.
closer to where lane 40 used to be. And we sort of fenced off that area for the summer months.
Right.
And we built cabanas, little, I think it was like 7 cabanas we built.
Oh,
And the
wow.
idea back then was if we could get people to come in, we'd be able to have them socially distanced from people that maybe they're not familiar with,
Right. Right.
feel more comfortable, because, who was expecting COVID? Okay. I mean, nobody was prepared for any of this, and we had to
Right.
sort of fly by the seat of our pants as
Right.
come up with new ways of uh, of attracting customers
Right.
because it, I mean, as an industry, we took a huge hit.
Right.
I mean, the governor shut us down twice.
Hmm.
Once at the beginning of the pandemic,
Yeah.
and then again in December of 2020, we were shut
Mhm.
down for a period of time until sometime in January of
Right.
2021. So,
Yeah. And then even in between, you're still kind of restricted certain capacities.
exactly. I mean, we had a lot of restrictions. At one point we were at 25% capacity, and then they
Yeah.
changed it to 50% capacity. Um, we try to follow the rules. Okay. Um, some of our customers weren't happy about it,
Right.
but we were
Yeah.
trying to protect our customers. I was trying to protect our staff. You know,
Right.
I didn't want that responsibility that somebody got sick on my watch.
Right.
So
Yeah. It's a
it
difficult
was
position.
tough.
Yeah. So now, have you seen? So is that outdoor area like here to stay? Do you still people coming back out for that, or I guess is it too early in the season to tell?
Well, what we were fearful of was once the pandemic is officially declared over,
Hmm.
that some of these special, let's say, exceptions or
Yeah.
leniency on the rules would disappear, and then all of our investment would go up in smoke, sort of.
Right.
Okay? So we started working with our local municipality,
Hmm.
and it's taken over a year of attending meetings and so forth to
Hmm.
where we were able to secure um, variances
Hmm.
that will allow us to have a seasonal parking lot.
Oh, very cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in the summertime, we don't have anywhere near as many bowlers. Or
Right.
I mean, our league business is almost nil in the summertime.
Yeah.
But even on open bowling, when the weather's nice, people want to be outside, and I get
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So it was a way to we had to convince our local people that we don't need like 200 parking spots
Right.
in June like
Yeah.
maybe we need in January.
Of course. Yeah.
So they had to sort of come up with a way to fashion something that was a seasonal
Hmm.
variance, okay, to where between, let's say, May and beginning of November,
Hmm.
we can operate with a reduced parking spot number.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a
So,
massive asset then.
so it's taking a whole bunch of steps. We're not 100% there,
Hmm.
but we're over I think, the hardest steps.
Yeah.
Right.
And do you do anything else to promote it, like music or cornhole or anything other outdoor activities?
Well, we have to be careful on the music when you're. That's one of the things that the local authorities are sensitive about.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
I mean, in our particular situation, we really don't have any houses nearby.
Okay.
The only issue is we're up on a hill, and sound will carry.
Sure.
Okay, I mean,
Hmm.
we have a high school right next to us, so we're not bothering them. And then we have a lot of woods right next to us, so we're really not bothering anybody there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but we're going to be doing some bike nights, which we've done for a number of years. We'll continue that. We're looking at maybe even adding a Jeep / bike night, and that would be something special for our area because the Jeep was actually invented in Butler.
Really?
So every June we have the Jeep Festival in downtown Butler.
Yeah.
And we have the largest number of Jeeps assembled anywhere in the world.
Wow.
It happens here in little old Butler. Okay.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's very cool. So we're going to expand, like I say, our normal bike night to include Jeeps on certain nights. Okay. Yeah. And then I'd like to have an Oktoberfest in the fall.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's another option that I'd like to have.
Yeah, I've seen those do really well, the Oktoberfest.
And we have a lot of other features that are going to be out there. We're going to have like fire pits. We bought a really cool 1962 Scotty trailer, and we had a local company modify it. So now it's like a mobile bar.
Oh, yeah. I saw a picture that looked really cool.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We got, like I said, we're going to have some water features. We have a big tent that we can be able to seat 150 people. So that's coming.
Oh, wow.
So we'll do a lot of functions.
Yeah.
Anytime we've done things, my rule of thinking always has been it's going to take at least a couple of years for it to take root.
Right.
Okay. Our space that we took out the 12 lanes, which we call the back alley, that COVID sort of messed up the 2-year mark on that.
Yeah.
But right now we're getting a lot of inquiries for that room. So
like for events.
For events and so forth. Yes.
Do you use the outdoor space for events as well, or is it
we
just
will?
Okay.
We haven't had a really fancy outdoor space yet.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is we didn't know if we were going to be allowed to keep it.
Right.
So there's always some reluctance there to spend a ton of money.
Of course.
Something only to have somebody else say, hey, you can't do that anymore.
Right.
Because COVID is gone or reduced. Okay. So we're actually planning on building adding a building that's going to house bathrooms and a dressing room.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So we're planning on being out there permanently. When I say permanently, I mean seasonally, but every year.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're excited about that.
Yeah. So if you had to say some different business lines or things that you're pursuing, events is up on that list of things that you're moving towards.
I'm sorry, what was that?
So out of the different product lines that you're trying to pursue, it sounds like events is high on your list of where you're moving towards.
Well, I would say yes, and part of the reason is we've been in business so long in bowling, okay, that everybody sort of knows us. And yes, we do a lot of bowling events, okay, and I most certainly don't want to downplay that at all.
Right.
But there's only so many events you can do because we've already done them, okay, right. or we do them on a regular basis. But now the outside stuff, that's sort of like new territory for us.
Right. Opens up a whole new, yeah. Okay. Yeah, just trying to get a sense of, so, we talked about the history and, leading up to where we are now. Wouldn't mind getting a sense of where you think the industry is headed or where you guys are headed as a company for the next year, 5 years. What do you see?
Well, the industry keeps changing. Okay. I mean, we were one of the first in the industry to do laser tag.
Right.
We bought that equipment in 1995. And for us to get to actually see the equipment, my brother, who's my partner, we had to drive all the way to Maryland. That was the closest location to us, and we're in Western Pennsylvania, which is
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. So it wasn't
Right.
like around the block.
Of course.
Okay. So I thought we were like ahead of the curve on that. We are most certainly, then we did our big upgrade on the bar. Okay. Where we have garage doors and we have, and the smoking deck has moved outside.
Mhm.
I think we were sort of ahead of the curve for most of the industry there. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we had such a big building, and we had 40 lanes, which maybe we don't need, we definitely didn't need that many lanes in 2022.
Yeah.
So it was sort of, I think we're ahead of the game for trying to do the events. Now,
Mhm.
some centers, if you're not a big center, you take out 12 lanes, you might be taking out a lot of your lanes. Okay.
Right.
We
Yeah.
still had 28 left.
Sure.
We actually still meet the criteria for the state of Pennsylvania for hosting their big state tournament, because you have to have at least 28 lanes there.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are diversifying these days, and golf simulators, axe throwing, uh, laser tag, different areas to try to
yeah.
move to the FEC style.
And everybody probably, every area is probably a little bit different,
Right.
okay, as to what's going to fly and what's not.
Mhm.
Okay. I meant, we as owners and also managers, we have a history of like going to see other places, seeing
Right.
what other people are doing. And then I think we've been pretty successful in bringing back some of those ideas,
Yeah.
trying to incorporate.
Right.
Like one of the things that we do is we call it pigskins and pins. The
Mhm.
industry might call it bowling. Okay.
Okay.
Very big in Detroit.
Yeah.
You take a football and you throw it at bowling pins.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think I saw some pictures on your website.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that is sort of pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it going to take the country by storm? I doubt it. But for us, it's like a little bit of a niche product. It doesn't
Yeah.
cost that much. I mean, we got the
Right.
bowling pins laying around. Okay. All we had to really do is buy some footballs.
Mhm.
Okay. But it's a nice little feature that we can add into our mix,
Right.
like what the back alley is all about, because we have the bowling, we have bocce, we have cornhole,
Mhm.
and then we have what we call pigskins and pins.
Yeah. And that's indoors still?
That's indoors, but during the summer, some of those things can go outside.
Okay.
Some
Yeah.
of, in fact, almost all of them can.
Yeah. No, that's very cool. So before we wrap up, I just wanted to ask a couple other questions.
Sure.
One of the biggest ones that I'm seeing a lot pop up when I'm talking to people in the industry is staffing, as I'm sure you felt, things here and there. What are you doing these days to handle staffing or keep employees there?
Well, that's a big thing that's facing the whole country. Okay.
Right.
I think, and yes, we probably have had some staffing issues like everybody else. I don't think we've had it as bad as what I've talked to other places.
Mhm.
And I think part of it is our general manager. Okay. He's very hands-on, and he it's sort of like working for a family instead of
Yeah.
working for a company that maybe employs up to 60 people. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so do we lose people? Yes. Do we lose less than I think most of the other rest of the industry does? I think we're doing a little bit better job there in holding on to our people.
Mhm.
So, I mean, some of our mechanics have been with us for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Some of our key people have been with us for a long time. Um, naturally, part of our industry is you get some high school kids. We may be their first uh, first job,
Mhm.
okay, or first serious job, and you're only going to have them for a certain period of time
Yeah.
because they're going to move on. They're going to go to college. They're going to, do something else. Okay,
Right.
so that's
Yeah.
what I see.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like maybe creating a good work environment and having a good leader at the helm are two of the key contributors.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that sounds about right. Because yeah, I mean, you're in one of the worst hit industries, and it sounds like you guys have, managed to get along pretty well.
Well, we muddle through.
Yeah, I'm sure there's days. Um, the other one I wanted to ask about that people seem to have issues with is sourcing food and supplies. Have you had much issues with that, or how do you guys handle the shortages?
Well, you know, uh, it's funny you talk about the supplies because right now, like, one of our suppliers is Pepsi, and we
Mm-hmm.
can't even buy cups, okay, from
Really?
Pepsi.
Yeah.
So my general manager is trying to source out getting certain size cups.
Uh-huh.
Um, we've we've occasionally hit some hiccups,
Mm-hmm.
okay. If we know that there's some sensitivity or shortages, okay, we try to get ahead of the ball, okay, and but yes, we've had the similar things that other centers probably have faced.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, during, I think it was, I can't remember exactly which month it was, but our food purveyors were having a serious issues with, they had a lack of drivers.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. And, we sort of split our business between couple different purveyors, and that sort of came back to bite us in one degree because when you split your business, then you're not as big to somebody else.
Right. You lose your
So
power.
these one of our suppliers had to make a hard choice, and they basically said, "Hey, uh, since we're short on drivers, we're going to just concentrate on a certain size
Yeah.
companies." And
Right.
unfortunately for us, we didn't make that cut.
Right.
Our other provider stepped in and helped us quite a bit.
Okay.
So, I mean, we did get through it. We knew it was going to be temporary.
Yeah.
And even on this other shortages of stuff, we know it's going to be temporary.
Mhm.
Sometimes we actually remodeled our kitchen and it took us 6 months just to get gas fryers. So, and some of the other equipment we ended up going out on the used market
Yeah.
just to see what was out there.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So just remaining flexible, adaptable seems to
Hmm.
be, just juggling along.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last thing is, since it's what we do, I figured I'd ask you a little bit about how you guys promote yourselves. Maybe some of the channels you use, or ways that you get the word out there, or promote Family Bowlaway.
Well, I mean, we have a couple people on our staff that are pretty uh, social media savvy.
Okay.
Okay, so we do a lot of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, um, during right before COVID, we were working on certain big projects, and one of them was a revised website.
Yeah. Which looks great,
And
by the way. Yours looks really good.
well, good, thank you.
I look at a lot of them, and they're far behind what you guys have. So it's pretty good.
Well, thank you. So then COVID shut us down,
Hmm.
and we had luckily we worked with this particular lady who was helping develop this website.
Hmm.
She under she understood what we were going through, the difficulties,
Yeah.
that she had empathy for us, okay? And she worked with us, and we sort of decided, okay, when we are allowed to reopen, this is something that's going to be usually important for us to have this thing done. So at the beginning of 2020, when COVID started, there was a lot of things that got shelved. That was not one of them. That was like one of the few things that we decided we're going to continue with working on, and we're going to see through this. Okay. And everything else would have to sort of wait.
Right.
So,
okay. So mainly the website and then social media seem to be the big two for you. Okay.
Pretty much so.
Excellent. Yeah. And you got some great,
we're around.
What's that?
Everybody, when people think of bowling in our town, even though we have a lot of competition, I think they think of us first.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's strange how many bowling centers are out in Pittsburgh. I've seen maps of the concentration in the Pittsburgh area. Western PA just has, it seems, so many more. I don't know why.
Yes. I mean, to be honest, in our little town, we're one of 4. Okay.
Yeah.
And they all have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're all like family owned. So they're, you know, their respective families sort of have everything invested in their locations. So they try their best to make sure that they open the doors the next day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot out there. So I'm sure it's competitive, but you guys seem to be doing really well at the moment. So just to take it home, is there any lessons or, you know, things you think have helped you most along the way, or things you recommend other proprietors try to implement in their business, or what would be your words of advice for running a center today?
Go and look at other places, because, you know, maybe you're a very smart person, but everybody's doing something maybe a little bit different that maybe you should consider. Okay. I meant bowling proprietors will talk with other proprietors, especially if they're not in the same town. I mean, they're more hesitant if they're down the street. But I have found my experience with bowling proprietors, they're very proud of their establishment, and they will share information with you that you might be surprised. Okay. And they'll share ideas, the things that they have worked on, because they're proud of those things.
Right.
So.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's a great takeaway. And is that something you mainly do, or you do some at the expo, or this is just all the time, go and visit centers whenever you're somewhere near a new one?
Well, like when we were going to do our bar renovation, my brother Joe and I, we went to Philadelphia, we went to Buffalo, we went to Florida, and we went to Nebraska. Okay. Okay. So we went to a lot, you know, we try to find out places that we had heard are a little bit more innovative. Yeah. Okay. And we would go and we would see what they are doing. Part of the back alley, we ended up in Columbus, Ohio, and we went to Pins Mechanical, and we saw something that actually solved one of our problems in our design. And you know, we came back much more fulfilled, you know, knowing that there's an answer to the question that we had. Okay. Yeah, no, that's really cool. So you're saying sometimes it does pay to go to a bar and drink? Well, yes, yeah. Up to a point. Every once in a while. I like that. That's great. Well, that's really all I have, Kevin. I really appreciate you taking some time. I'll put this together and share it with you when it's finished, but I do really appreciate you taking the time to share some of the things that have worked for you. No problem. I'm sorry the video on my end might be a little bit bouncy here because I'm trying to hold this. No problem at all. No, it looks great. You got some good lighting going on too. Okay. Well, well, thank you very much, Forrest. Thank you. Yeah, we'll be in touch. Like I said, I appreciate you taking the time. Okay. Okay. Bye-bye. Take care.